Hello everyone, and welcome back to Riven. So I looked at the viewer island. Couldn't figure out what I did wrong. All the marbles were in the right spot. So I went down to the colors, figuring maybe I got the colors wrong. Yep. So it's red, if I'm right, by what I noticed. It's red for the village islands. I read my notes wrong. I just realized. I literally just realized. I was like, oh, it's red for that one. Yeah, no, I'm looking at my notes again, literally just now, right? Looking at my notes. Yeah, it's red. I had my notes wrong. So it's red. That's what I had wrong. It was red, not yellow. Easy enough to solve, but yeah, that's what I had wrong. Oops, I was going to do this as like an extra. Oh well. We'll have to read through Catherine's journal. At least.
Sirapo. Ibuko mo buko wisipo. Na vene. Tapo mo revene beno.
Is that Crystal?
Now, Katerina ne. Wisifa polo ya sepe yai.
The Moyadi don't trust me enough to let me out of my prison, but they'll trust me enough to give me a linking book back. So that's nice. So Catherine's journal. I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, I stood motionless, peering ahead through a dim veil which was slowly lifting. There was a violent clang, and bars appeared. Wow, this is really hard to read, actually. I was like, because Nico, when I was watching Nico, he was having trouble reading it. I'm like, it shouldn't be that hard to read. But yeah, no, I'm reading this right now going, oh my god. I remember breathing slowly and very deeply, tasting the familiar Riven air, but not recognizing a thing. I must have been hit with the dart right away. I thought it was an insect bite at first, trying to remember it all. But it's different, maybe because of the drug. There was a voice. A man I did not recognize stood before me, Rivenese, though he was wearing a dunny dress. He seemed to be talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect. A shadow crept in and I fell asleep. Then there were the many voices, but I understood none of them. Like hundreds of people whispering, I couldn't wake up. No matter, the dream did end. And now, to be with Getty, it's been so many years. I didn't realize how much I missed her, like a piece of me that I had forgotten I'd lost. This beautiful and so full of she's beautiful and so full of warmth, but the years have also left her with a wound which was not there when we were children. I write quickly from my prison. Neela will return your book, which the Moyadi interrupted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Ken will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office. Then, I assume, we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I am released. Catherine. I do wish she were more interested. It seems like I'm asking all the questions. It's awkward. No one asked me where I've been, or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand it. Their beliefs are born out of ignorance and oppression. They're a gentle people, but they've had their nest destroyed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might save them. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never belonged. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them. But now I'm overwhelmed by an intense feeling that I owe everything to them in this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given this second chance. But second chance at what? Saving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? The Moiety, Atris would want me to chronicle all that I've learned. I can at least record some of it. It seems that when Atris and I trapped Gen on Riven many years ago, our efforts were witnessed by most of the inhabitants here. 2 of the Rivenese even witnessed the confrontation with Gen at the fissure, where I linked back to Mist and where Atris threw himself into the abyss. Of course, they understood little of what they were seeing, but they somehow were able to guess that we had won. That Gen was no god at all, but only a feeble impostor, a false god, and that we had trapped him here on Riven. I always hoped they would deduce this simple truth, but their further conclusions have astonished me. Atris had stripped Gen of his power, therefore Atris must be a true god. As a god, he was choosing me, the spiritual misfit from a Rivenese womb, to be his wife. I was transcending into deity and would lord over Riven forever. Thus, the Moiety, as they call themselves, were born a dissident society, sworn enemies of Gen. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atris and myself until 2 days ago. Getty was, for some reason, hesitant to tell me. I can't figure out why. I know she wouldn't believe these things. Of course, everyone else assumed that I would be aware of my own god status, so they made no effort to inform me. I only realized it at a recent gathering to which I was invited. I sat in the front of a dimly lit and crowded cave as they told a mythical story of my own life. Acting out the battle between Atris, myself, and Gen at the edge of the fissure. The events had been exaggerated into grandiose proportions. It was offensive, but I was unable to stop it. I was unable to break the illusion, which is the very foundation of their hope and purpose, and which had given them courage to band together and rebel against Gan. Since then, I've learned of other doctrines and beliefs that have evolved, the most disturbing of which is the conviction that one day I would return to Riven to face them, or to free them. Some believe that I will overthrow Gan, others believe that I will bring them to paradise. I don't know how to deal with this. I fight it myself. I love these people, my only real kindred, but they will not love me as an equal, which hurts me. I would rather be their slave than their master. Over the years, as Gen's power has become greater and greater, the Moiety's numbers have grown, and they have become more and more adept at hiding themselves. They now live in a complex network of caves that he still has not discovered. The Moiety, for the most part, have completely severed their relationship with any of the Rivenese that chose against joining them. But I hope they're not sacrificed vital limbs in order to remove the cancer. Even Father and Grant are still on the surface in Gen's domains, and I long to see them, but a dimness shrouds Getty's face every time I've mentioned them. Since this break took place, they have interfered with the surface in superficial ways, occasionally sabotaging one of Gen's constructions and stealing food from the villagers. My God, it really is hard to read. They wear strange masks, and sometimes during their short forays to the island's surface, and take this regalia very seriously, refusing to be seen by anyone outside the Moiety unless they are properly attired. They get much pleasure out of the fact that those on the surface are frightened by these costumes, calling them evil spirits or ghosts. It was during one of their exhibitions that they fortunately rescued me from one of Gen's guards when I first appeared on the island. Otherwise, I am sure I would have been delivered to Gen immediately. I've no doubt that he's now searching for me. Of course, I am now aware that I was fooled. Atris is not here. I was at first devastated by this realization. Now I am thankful. He would be in extreme peril here. Also, there is a quiet inner voice, an echoing remnant that wants him far from here. I've just witnessed an age dying, gasping its last breath. Today I ventured to the surface to see what had become of this island. I hoped I would not be as bad as the Moiedi had reported. It was worse. They have become slowly accustomed to its steady decay. But I was devastated. The lips from which the kiss is wrought has fallen words, will fall cold breath. The womb from which the cry released has suffered hurt, will suffer death. To get to the surface, we had to travel through a complex series of doors and passages. Before the last of these doors, they offered me a weapon, which I accepted, and then a mask. I held the mask in my hands for a while, wondering what sort of terror it might invoke in those members of my family who still live on the surface. But I also knew I must keep my identity hidden from Gen's ever-vigilant eye, so I accepted it as well as them. Together we swam a short expanse and emerged out of the surface of the ocean under a rocky overhang. The harsh sunlight made my eyes sting, but the fresh, rich air was exhilarating after these past few weeks in the dank caves. The two men with me were silent, communicating only with hand signals. The three of us emerged from our hiding place and made our way to the top of the plateau. At the edge of a thick and overgrown area of the forest, they stopped, peered through the foliage for a moment, and then turned to me as if awaiting my command. But could not respond. In fact, I found it difficult to move. I was smelling, hearing, and breathing my youth. This swept over me in a matter of seconds, but in seconds more, all feeling was gone. There was numbness. We did not stay long on the surface, but it was long enough to see the worst Riven, which was once one island, has split apart into 5 distinct pieces, about a half a mile apart. 4 of these have been claimed by Gen as his exclusive domain. Only his ministers and personal militia are ever allowed access to them. From my vantage point at the edge of the forest, I could see 3 of these islands. They are stripped of their former beauty and are filled with Gen's self-absorbed constructions. The Moiedi rarely visit these closely guarded places. There is another island which I could not see, as it had evidently crept away to a terrifying distance. The Moiedi are very unclear as to what exists on this island, except for the fact that they know it is where the Great Two used to exist. The forest is located on the islands that the surface dwellers in the Moiedi still refer to as Riven, but they also still refer to their entire world as Riven. This island is where the village is, which has changed dramatically. It is also the one remaining province of the people, though Gen's influence can be seen everywhere. Of course, I know the reason for the fracturing of the islands. The Moiedi do not. Gen wrote this place, and it will die, as all of Gen's ages eventually die. I feel nothing today. I am nothing. I live in a cave on a dying world inhabited by people that they are treating me so strangely. They don't know how to relate to a god. I'm still an outcast here. They whisper amongst themselves, talking of bravery during my excursion to the surface. How I walked across the island, bold and unafraid. They don't know me. Even Getty is uncomfortable around me. At times there is no awkwardness, and I am only Catron to her, but at other times I am something else. I am afraid. There's a great numbness inside me. Today I do not feel closeness with my people, neither am I offended by their worship of me. I do not hate Gen. I don't feel anything. I'm not even sure of, scratched off. At least Neela is still close. I don't know what that says. Gen is making and writing books. I wish they had told me sooner. Atris should have realized this would happen. Of course, Gen would have written all of the materials necessary to the Dunny craft of making books into this age, and probably every other age he ever wrote. He is attempting to write his way out of here. We did not imprison him. We only delayed him. This age has become his factory, and the people are his machines. All working in his mad pursuit to become a god. I don't think that's working, but to carry on his noble Dunny cause. So far, he has not been able to produce a fully functional book. Atris has never believed in destiny, but I don't know what else to call it. It's too perfect. It's too much of a coincidence. They hang on my every word, that they do not understand them. I am their hope, and now I have returned. Oh my god. There is no choice. It's been a long time since my last entry. It is hard to recognize, but I have found the fissure. It is located on the island which the Rivenese call Aleppo, meaning water pool, but which is referred to by the Moiaidi as whatever that is, meaning pool of stars. Having once allowed Atris to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, it has since been sealed with a skin of heavy iron. A crude telescope has been mounted over a locked viewpoint, the combination to which was acquired by the Moiaidi before my arrival. Okay. This is important to write down. That is not my pencil. Where is my pencil? You're sitting on my pencil, cat. You need to move, like, oh my god. I dropped my pencil. Oh my god. I dropped my pencil again. Hang on. I'm good. Just, dropping things and doing things. Alright. So, this symbol, meaning 4. This symbol, which I believe means 5. And then 4, 4, 5. So 4, 5, 4, 4, 5. That's really easy. This is another one of those puzzles that is completely randomized. And so it's impossible to actually know what this combination is until this moment in the game. So 4, 5, 4, 4, 5. I don't feel like reading the rest of that. If anybody wants to read all this stuff, you can go play it, because oh my god. I think that's only like halfway through the book, so oh my god. It's so long, and she writes so bad. Okay, anyway, let's get out of here. I love that it looks like stone, but it's actually like solid metal. That, or it's just a big metal piece on the back, one of the two. Yeah, there's a lot of lore and things like that, and yada yada, and basically she comes in, she gets found by the Moiaidi take her to that place that we were just at. You know, they're all happy. Hey, Catherine's here, yada yada. They help her out a lot. And then she turns around and gets captured by Gan and trapped on Prison Island. And that's basically where it ends. So, time to leave. I don't want to read anymore. If it wasn't so hard to read, I'd finish it. I might read it in like an extra episode, finish it off, but I feel like because I did those little cut scenes that I should really just move on. So I was going to do this as an extra episode where I looked at both books, but then I forgot because of the whole, like, figuring out the puzzle thing. So hello. It's Gan. But yeah, at that point it's like, oh boy, there's Gan. And it's straight on, basically. Okay, so this is still blue. A2. And B4, where I have yellow here, needs to be red. Boom. That should do it. Switch on! As Citron from the Japanese X and Y, Pokemon X and Y would say. I only watched X and Y in Japanese. I never saw it in English. What did I do wrong now? It's right. It's all right. I'm gonna have to look it up again. I have to look at it again and find out what the frick I did wrong this time. D2. D2 is purple. A1 is green. A2 is blue. That wasn't A2 anyway. I just realized. I was like A2. That was B2. What have I done wrong? D2 is purple. A1 is green. A2 is blue. B4 is red. B2 is orange. Oh my god. I don't know what I did wrong this time. I really don't. I have no idea what's wrong. B2 is orange. B4 is red. A2 is blue. A1 is green. D2 is purple. This is the hardest puzzle in the entire game. It sucks. I'm going to look this up and not look it up, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at what I did wrong, find out what's wrong, and when we return, I will have solved this freaking puzzle. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to subscribe. I know that most of this episode was reading that book. I apologize. And I didn't even finish it. But yeah. Anyway, actually, you know what? I'm not going to end this episode yet. Because I was planning to do a death after I solved that. But you know what? We can do a death. Let's do a death. Let's do a death. So what happens if you signal Atris without capturing Gen and without saving Catherine? So that way at least you get some entertainment. So there's the starfisher down there. You can use the telescope and look down to see the starfisher. If I lower it all the way down, like, that's cool, right? Like, that's what the starfisher looks like. But it can't go down any further. Oh wait, didn't Catherine say something about a stopper right here? There it is. How this tiny little peg stops this big thing from going down, I don't understand. Let's do a dash. Well, so much for the telescope. So much for the knife too. Riven's falling apart very quickly.
There isn't much time. Where's Catherine? The book is empty. I don't understand.
You never did.
Uh-oh.
Father.
Father. I am no longer your father because you are no longer my son. I don't know what you thought you were doing, but thank you. I finally am free.
Bad end. Number 2. So there's Gan, and so if you do that one, it's like, oh, he's clearly evil, you know, and so that happens. So I do want to show you all 4 of the endings to this game. One of them, well, there might be 5, I'm not sure, because I don't know what happens if you use the trap book when you're not in the Moriarty's land. I haven't tried it, so it might just be the same thing. The Moriarty might pick it up again. Yeah, they might find it on one of their excavations, pick it up again, and be like, oh, okay, that's what happened, you know. But yeah, so that's the end. Again, and I still have no idea what I have done wrong with this puzzle, so I'll figure that out in between episodes, and in the next episode, like I said, I will have figured this stupid thing out, solved the puzzle. So I do hope you've enjoyed. If you have, feel free to subscribe. Check the video description down below for a link to the playlist so that you can get caught up on any of the episodes you might have missed. And I'll see you guys in the next episode where we finally get this stupid dome working. See you later.